Welcome to Girls Gone Hallmark, a Hallmark review podcast. I'm Megan, and I'm a longtime Hallmark fan.
I'm Wendy. I'm a former Hallmark hater.
On today's episode, we are discussing The Way Home, Season 4, Episode 4, titled We've Got Tonight, which originally aired on the Hallmark Channel on Sunday, May 10th, and is currently available to stream on Hallmark Plus. One of our favorite things about The Way Home are your listener emails and voicemails, which you can send to us at hello@girlsgonehallmark.com or drop us a voicemail 949-329-8090 and come back on Friday for all your thoughts on this week's episode. I think we have a lot to talk about in this episode, so why don't we kick it off with a synopsis?
When Nick arrives back in Port Haven, Dell throws a party like old times. Alice has to keep her distance from young Colton and Dell, but tries to learn more.
Dun, dun, dun.
The title of this episode is We've Got Tonight. Do you know that song? We've Got Tonight.
Probably.
Come on.
Oh, really? Yeah. Yeah, I know the Kenny Rogers version.
I mean, I grew up listening to this music, so.
Oh. Yeah, this is a good song.
Yeah, it's a really good song. And then this episode had another really good song in it, too. When Dell's dancing in her kitchen to it.
Oh, yeah.
Dancing in the moonlight.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good song, too.
Yeah, and we heard that song in another era, too, did we?
Yeah, Dell was listening to, like, the recorded version in present day, and then we get the flashback to the 70s.
Oh, the kitchen party.
Colton's playing it, the kitchen party, yeah.
Yeah, We've Got Tonight. The original was released by Bob Seger in 1978. The Kenny Rogers version came out in 1983. Both of those dates are significant for us here on The Way Home, so we shall see.
Very interesting. I'm sure there is a connection. It's no coincidence here.
Hey, what is your first impression of The Way Home, Episode 4, Season 4?
We wanted Thomas back, and the writers technically complied.
Yeah.
Were you disappointed?
That he's not corporeal, yes.
Yeah.
He's a figment of poor Jacob's imagination.
I thought it was really freaking cool, though, how they did it.
Yes.
What's your first impression?
My first impression is I'm getting a little too much of everything I love about this show right now. Stacking mysteries on mysteries and waiting for literally even one answer.
These are things you love?
Like, it's doing too much.
It's doing too much. I agree. I texted you while watching this.
Yeah.
And I was like, I feel ... annoyed. There's so many things happening in this episode. And as much as I love this show, I was like, have we gone way too, what?
Well, and we'll talk about one of the biggest conundrums that this episode poses, but I had to literally lay down with my eyes closed and try and puzzle it out. So let's get into this episode.
Okay.
What do you want to start with? Want to start with Jacob in Toronto since we talked about Thomas?
Sure.
I mean, we get to see Jacob at his little bar in Toronto. For a brief second, it was giving Ripple.
Oh, for sure.
What do you think about that woman and man who come in the beginning? The man's like such a blowhard. The woman's like, oh, I'll see you later, old soul.
I think there's a reason for sure. I don't know what it is. And of course, when I watch this show, I'm like, oh, is that Claire? Is that Tessa? Is that like, I just want to watch it and enjoy it and not try to figure it out. Could this person be somebody? Sure. Could it just be a beautiful woman who was attracted to Jacob? Sure.
Yeah, I think Jacob has a hard time envisioning his future. Jacob's stuck in his head, and I don't think he can envision like the right way forward for himself. So I was thinking maybe that's just hinting at like Jacob has a happy future with this woman. They made a connection. When she first walked in, I thought, oh, they recognize each other.
Yes.
But then it just seemed like maybe this was just an attractive woman that Jacob was noticing, and she was noticing him, and they just had this connection, and she realized she was on a terrible blind date, and she was looking for anything that would save her. So I think you're right. I don't think anything is coincidental, and they could have done the, we don't do espresso martini shtick in any other number of ways without introducing this woman.
Right. Exactly.
Obviously, the big thing happening with Jacob is that he is being visited by the spirit of Thomas.
I don't take it as that. I think it's his conscious.
Well, yes, I agree with you. Yes.
Okay. Like, we're not actually getting like Ghost Thomas.
No.
here.
You're right. It's like his little Jiminy Cricket.
Yeah. I think it's really effective.
I loved it.
Because they need somebody for Jacob to kind of talk to, bounce issues off of, right? And he literally has nobody in Toronto. So
yeah, and it's so much better that they have him like envisioning Thomas as this person as opposed to him having these conversations with the bar manager, someone who's meaningless to us.
Exactly. I'm kind of surprised that they didn't bring like Elijah back in this role.
Yeah, but they know what the viewers want.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Somebody's listening to us.
Sure.
I think it's really cool. Like, honestly, when I saw Chris Holden Reed, I was like, what?
Yeah.
And then, like, when I realized the purpose, I was like, okay. But it's very exciting that he's there. Obviously, what these two are talking about, I think, is interesting to Jacob's storyline. You know, Jacob's trying to convince himself that the family is better off without him. And it's very much tied to, like, his trauma. And I like that Thomas is pushing back on that. He keeps forcing Jacob to confront these things. Leaving again might actually be hurting everyone more.
Yes.
And I think we see that. I'm going to jump ahead a second towards the end of the episode when Del's having their kitchen party and the phone rings. It's very much season 1 Del.
Yes.
When she runs back to the phone, it's Jacob. You know, she was just waiting for any information about Jacob.
I liked this inclusion of Jacob in this episode. I like telling this storyline, but I do think it's a little bit criminal that in episode 2 and 3, we really only saw him like via text message.
Yeah.
That's my feeling on it.
I agree. What are your thoughts on Elliot going to bring Jacob home?
I loved it, actually.
Really? Tell me more.
Elliot doesn't get a lot to do, and a lot of our stories are told around Kat and Alice saving people in the past, rescuing Jacob, figuring out Susanna, helping her. Now we're going to deal with Tessa. Elliot finally has a tangible path forward that is helpful to Del, helpful to Kat. It's something that he can do. He can take off on his own. It gives him a purpose. I think it's nice for Elliot to be the one to say to Jacob, "You're wanted." Because I think coming from Kat and Del, it can maybe feel like an obligation. Like, of course, your mom and your sister are going to say, "Come home," because we're worried about you. And they're going to put their feelings about you being home ahead of any trauma that Jacob feels like he's projecting on them. But I feel like it means more coming from Elliot.
Well, and I think as a viewer, to have Elliot be the one person to go to Jacob, obviously we know Jacob is not really in the know, but we know that Elliot feels disconnected from his own life or his family history. You know, he's going through all this stuff with his mom. Jacob's unaware of all that stuff. So Elliot going to him and being like, "Hey, we want you," or they want you to be there. It's poignant.
You know, you saying that made me think of something else, though. Kat and Alice are willing to jump in the pond and travel through time, but not willing to get on a plane. Kat just wants to text bomb him, but she doesn't want to
Text
do
bomb.
the work.
Wait, what's the
power texting?
power text?
I think that's kind of interesting.
That is really interesting, actually, because Kat definitely has the means to get on an airplane and go try to find him.
Sure. And once they found out, if Elliot knew where he was, then so did everybody else at that point. So that's interesting.
Very interesting.
You want to talk about Kat investigating old Mr. Grayson Goodwin and the Herald connection?
She needs to dial it back. I'm so frustrated with Kat in this episode. Okay, here's my biggest beef right now.
Okay.
Kat has become a full-time detective.
Yeah.
Full-time time-traveling detective.
Yep.
It's starting to stress me out. In season 4, it's finally starting to stress me out. It's like Hannah Swinson, the baker turned detective.
Sure.
It's like Kat. It's so Hallmark. Every scene with her she is chasing some clues.
I gotta go save this person.
Jumping timelines, connecting conspiracies, digging through archives. Like, she's trying to crack the case. There's no balance in her life at all. it is so hard to watch. And that's why I'm like, does she want to get married to Elliot right now? I know she's like, I want a ring. I want to get engaged. But I'm like, what is happening? Like, you're just out in the world doing all these crazy things all the time. As a parent getting ready to send my own child to college, like, why is none of that happening? Like, Kat's not.
Why are we not shopping for dorm room supplies?
They need a Wuzu fan, apparently. So
get the one on the stand.
I'm just saying, it's so interesting to me. And then I wonder, I honestly laughed out loud when she's like, oh, I got to go to work at the Herald. I was like, you haven't been at work at the Herald in 3 years. Like,
well, and she's like, I think I'm going to shut it down. And in that moment, I was like, and all of God's people said, amen, because it is about time. Everyone, she does not work there. And she's like, oh, well, the paper's not important to the town. Maybe it would be if you wrote it. Also, I'm just very curious. Is Kat single-handedly responsible for writing the entire newspaper herself?
I don't know.
That seems untenable.
Is it?
Even for someone who shows up to work every day.
Is it like a printed newspaper? Like, where's it getting printed at? I know she's not like printing it in her office there, but
I mean, it's all digital. They send it off, they print it, and they probably have like a third-party distribution service. I don't think Kat's responsible for like delivering it to the little grocery store stand.
On her bike.
Yeah.
Each house. But it is weird though. I'm like, why is the show bringing this up now? Why? They didn't even have to mention her being at the Herald at all in this episode. They haven't talked about it in 3 years. Us as viewers have just been like, okay, she has this job, but she doesn't really go there because her full-time job is being a time-traveling detective. So
here's why I think they brought it up. I think 2 reasons. 1, we all know that Evelyn's files are at the Herald, so she needed a reason to be going through those. 2, I do think we need to close the loop on the Herald. We've all been saying Kat's the worst employee of all time. And so while we know she works there, I think it is important that she decided, I'm going to move on. I'm going to write my novel or write a history of Port Haven. I think we needed that small little button on the Herald storyline. I would like to say something about the novel. Where did we hear someone saying, what if, was it you who said, what if this entire series is Kat's novel?
I mean, I hope I said it because I love that idea, but I can't remember if I said it or not. Or if I read it in an email. I don't remember.
I don't remember either, but somebody had said, what if that's the conclusion? And I hate that. That's like that's a cop-out of an ending, I think. They're like, none of it ever happened. This was a figment of Kat's imagination.
Oh, yeah, we did talk about this. It's like Lost.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But again, this episode is so frustrating because she's investigating Grayson and she's like, oh, I found this insignia on the bullet casing and it's the exact same as the insignia on Grayson in this photo that I took at the cabin. And now I'm going to go through Grayson's files. And Grayson had a sister who died. They look like the children who were in the White Witch mirror. And I'm like, oh my gosh, stop it with the new information. We have to start closing threads.
Yeah, I found that so frustrating. I hated. Please don't send your emails to me. I can be critical of some things I didn't like in an episode, but I hated that she was like you said, the insignia, and then this, and that means this, and then that means this, and this, and then we're going to do this, and I'm like, stop it.
I know. I still enjoy this show, but I do feel like in some ways the writers have bitten off more than they can chew. And I hope I eat my words at the end and it's all very satisfactory. But we're at episode 4 and there's no answers at all. Like we're just piling on information and it gets worse. I'm frustrated.
Yeah, me too.
I'm frustrated.
Totally frustrated. But I can't help but think like Kat hasn't changed at all in 4 seasons. I don't think in terms of like she's never been able to find enough answers and she thinks she can fix everything. This has been her pattern since season 1.
Yeah.
I'm like, when is enough?
Agree.
You know, if it wasn't for
Alice is so much more thoughtful about her time traveling than Kat is.
Yes.
And she says, like, I don't think I should go back. I don't think I go back. And when she does go back, it's in a very, like, lurking sort of way. And it's very interesting.
Yeah, really interesting.
Let's talk about Alice in the 70s.
Okay.
like I mentioned, she goes back, but she doesn't interact with any of our main players. But she is.
I feel like she's functioning like the audience right now.
Oh, yeah.
Because she's just like you said, lurking. Like she's observing everything.
And the only interaction she has is with Tessa. And basically she says, I kept your secret about stealing that money. You keep mine. Obviously, she witnesses this kitchen party. Del had told us in the present day, like, oh, they had these epic kitchen parties. And when she said, like, epic, I was picturing something more than this, I have to admit. Like, this place was, like, the place to be. And it's 8 people in their kitchen playing guitar.
Eating food.
Drinking wine.
Talking.
I mean, it's fun. Looks like a good time.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want a big rager. Anyway.
You know, epic means different things to different people.
Sure. I mean, it was memorable.
I'm going to have an epic night tonight watching TV on my couch.
In my jammies, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
With a heating pad. Mm-hmm. Obviously, the main thing that happens is this Tessa Fern blow up. Fern comes downstairs. She sees Tessa and she freaks out. You'll never be a Landry. And Colton's like, she's not going to be a Landry. She's going to be an Augustine. And Fern is like outside pacing.
It's like the end is her beginning and the beginning is her end. The end is something like that.
She's trying to puzzle it out. She can't figure out what's going on with Tessa. Obviously, this is happening parallel with Kat in the 20s trying to figure out how Fern knows Tessa and all of that. So we're trying to put these things together in 2 different timelines, and we obviously haven't figured out how Fern knows Tessa and the relationship, but Fern's not a big fan of Tessa. And Tessa at this point hasn't met Fern.
Yeah, this is the first time that she encounters.
And she certainly hasn't met young Fern at this point.
Right. Which Kat puzzles together later in the episode. I want to talk about Tessa for a second.
Yeah.
I think the Tessa stuff is the most compelling part that's coming out of the 70s timeline. Of course, we learn some other details about Del and Colton having a baby. And this is 1979, which does not line up with Kat's actual birth year. We'll talk about it in a second. But Tessa is deeply suspicious to me.
Mm-hmm. Why does she go to get that almanac and look at the Jacob?
Why does she get the almanac? Why does she have this weird conversation with Alice out front?
Mm-hmm.
It feels very much like
Tessa. You feel like Tessa knows more than she lets on.
Sure. Mm-hmm. And then what I don't understand, if we're backing up further, Tessa and Vic have this whole conversation outside the Landry house, like, oh, you've been working so hard for a year for this. And she wants friends that feel like family and like it's all happening. What? Because I have a hard time believing that Del and Colton wouldn't just be like, oh, hey, come hang out with us. Like, why did Tessa have to work so hard to get so close to these people over a whole year?
Yeah, I don't know if it's just like the history with like the Augustines kind of being the odd men out and Vic wasn't really in that circle after
his
brother died.
I don't buy that because remember Colton sitting in the diner and being like, hey, buddy, come sit with us. And like Vic,
sure,
took off. But I don't think Colton and Del would hold Vic's feet to the fire and be like, no, you can't be friends, but you can't sit with us.
Sure.
You can't be friends with us. I don't know. The whole Tessa storyline is weird to me.
It is.
She's weird to me. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, there's a weird, it was noted in our listener mailbag that when Alice asks her, where she's from, what she's doing there, she's kind of cagey about it. And there is something weird about her, like otherworldly almost. I don't even know how to describe it.
Yeah.
You mentioned Del's pregnancy in this scene. It's cute because Evelyn doesn't say anything, but I think she suspects because she hands Del a glass of wine and then she watches Del not drink it.
Yeah.
Earlier in the episode, present day Del had said well, Kat, you were born in 1982. So we knew Kat was born in 1982. Once again, I know I was wrong about how old she is, but also this is 1979 that Alice is visiting. And obviously pregnancies are not 3 years long. So does she have a miscarriage? That's the most likely assumption, I think. Other than this is another baby that gets sent away, dropped through the pond. But no.
I hope not. I hope not. I mean, I don't hope for the alternative either. While watching this, I went, is Colton the actual biological father of Kat?
Oh.
Because Del says something like, it was very hard for them to get pregnant, right? And then if she loses this pregnancy, then what? Like, is it possible that Griffin is the father of Cat?
I don't like that.
Let's put that in your back pocket. Just put that in your back pocket.
It's possible. I just don't like it.
Okay. Let's talk present day kitchen party.
Okay.
First of all, before we get into the kitchen party for Nick's homecoming, why is Nick coming back?
God. He walks in, I was like, ugh.
I don't want anything to do with Nick.
Still no Claire.
I actually want to talk about Nick like at the end of our episode.
Okay.
But Del wants to have this big
yeah, since when is Del Nick's biggest fan?
Agree.
She was so happy to see him, and I don't think she had any negative feelings towards Nick, but I just thought, she greeted him like her long-lost son.
Yeah.
And then she's like, we got to have this homecoming. I was like, oh, Del really likes Mr. Julian here. And she's like, we got to celebrate Nick coming back so I can get it on this milquetoast bio father over here.
Okay, well, first of all, introducing Julian feels very unnecessary to me. I'm sure there's a reason for it. But why are we introducing another new character
100%.
in episode 4 of the final season? And I don't like, and I think there's more to it, but I don't like this this love triangle that they have set up between Julian, Sam, and Del. I do believe it's going to be less about a love triangle and more of a storytelling tool for Del, because in this episode, this is where like my hair stood up on my neck a little bit. When Julian and Del have this conversation, like she wants to know how Julian got to be where he is in his life. Like, how did you become the bio dad to Nick, blah, 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 whatever. It's basically mentioned that there's this unconventional family structure for them, right? And I was like, oh, this is also happening concurrently about Del's pregnancy timeline unfolding. And I was like, unconventional family structure. Could we be implying that like Colton is not the father of Del's kids here?
Oh.
Do you see what I'm
No, I
talking
absolutely do. And I think that's an interesting parallel that I absolutely hadn't pulled. I had other thoughts about Julian's presence, but yeah, that's a good point.
I think this episode wants us to start thinking about like family lines and who belongs to who and like how people got to be where they are.
Yeah, it's interesting because we didn't need to have the mechanics of like, how did Nick get here? Because it's not all that uncommon that a same-sex couple would turn to a close friend of theirs and be like, hey, will you be the biological? I don't think that's an uncommon thing.
Exactly.
Certainly not unheard of. So we didn't need it.
Right.
My feeling on Julian before, now my head is spinning, but was more that he was a vehicle to make Del think more clearly about her relationship with Sam. And I actually kind of don't like it. I don't like Del's reaction here. We're talking about the kitchen party, but if I can just talk about Del and Sam here. They have that confrontation in the stables, and Del's like, I'm not something to be taken for granted. Our relationship is a gift. And I just thought, like when Julian says, you guys seem very comfortable, she takes that as a slight.
Totally.
And I think, okay, I don't see Sam taking advantage of Del at all, or taking her for granted, I should say. Like he seems all in on their relationship. To me, it just seems like a convenient excuse for Del, who isn't quite ready to commit to Sam for whatever reason, for her to be like, oh, you take us for granted, we're too comfortable. I feel like if I am the grandmother of a child going to college, the best I can ask for is a relationship that I'm comfortable in.
Totally.
Like that seems like a dream if you're just like, we're cool, man.
Totally. Well, I was like, why is Del getting so like offended?
Like they just seemed, maybe she's just so overwhelmed by Sam wanting her to move in. And at the beginning of the episode that she's like, I'm not ready to talk about that. I need to table that. And like a lot of change is coming for her. I get that. Like she is finally going to be alone. And I think it's perfectly reasonable for her to say like, look, not finally, because she was alone for a long time prior to them. But there's a lot of change. I think it's fine for her to say like, I need to process my grandchild moving away, my daughter moving in with her future husband. Let me figure out where I am before we move in together. But throwing this bomb in her relationship, I thought was unnecessary and a little, she's like Jacob in this moment, a little self-destructive.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Also at that kitchen party, Julian recites a passage from The Tempest.
Yes.
I have never read The Tempest, but I Googled its significance because that's what I do. Now, the AI overview on Google, I'm admitting this is as far as I went, okay, y'all? Because this show's doing a lot. The speaker in this passage is Prospero, reflecting on the impermanence of existence. And it says it highlights the intersection of illusion, reality, and mortality.
Oh, interesting. Very interesting.
Do I know what that means at this point? No, I do not. Are we going to come back around to it? I sure as hell hope so. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I was Googling as well. Mm-hmm. I'm like, you can't throw like Shakespeare into like I mean, you can, but I just need some context. Like, hit me over the head with it a little bit more.
Sure.
Like, what is the theme here? What are you trying to say?
Give me a little exposition where Kat's like, oh, that's so interesting because.
Exactly. Exactly. I'm sure there's smarter viewers out there who got the reference.
Why is Julian bumping on the Snapdragons? What the hell is going on there?
Yeah, I don't know.
The other thing about the kitchen party is Alice comes home from her 1979 travel and
she's not wet, FYI, either.
Oh, look at that. And she's like, no, I want to sing for you, Del, because she's heartbroken knowing that something's going to happen with this pregnancy that she's just seen in 1979. And of course, she hands Elliot some sheet music on her phone. And it's the same song Colton was singing at the 1970s kitchen party. Del gets emotional. And this is when we get our phone call from Jacob. Del says, I almost had it.
Yeah. Like, these people are dealing with so much trauma, but you can't go to a therapist and talk about time travel. You know? I had a question. There's so much, like, I'm no fun, first of all. Let's establish that if we haven't already. But they're singing like these old-timey songs that is that realistic?
5 went in and 4 came out. Yeah, why are they singing that? I mean, I know it's relevant to our show, but wouldn't you be like doing your best Kendrick Lamar or something? Like,
Did you imagine?
Busting out your Britney Spears moment? But again, they needed the rights.
Yeah, I know. I was like, what? Why are we singing these songs? Like, it just seems so weird to me. In different time eras, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm sure there's like some California songs that are relevant to where I live, but we don't gather around the kitchen and sing them. You know, it just is weird.
It's not a 3rd grade play about your community.
Yes, that's what it's giving.
Yeah.
Exactly. A walk through Port Haven. Yeah, you know?
Oh, man. If you know, you know.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, let's talk Fern and Kat in 1929.
Okay.
Or actually, my bad. I don't know if it's 1929.
25.
Yeah, Fern and Kat in 1925.
25, still alive.
I'll be honest, this is the one storyline that's losing me a little bit. I like the idea of Fern.
She's an unreliable narrator, so I'm like, do I trust you? What's going on with you?
Yeah, but here's my criticism is that in the 1920 scenes, they veer almost into everyone is talking like a caricature of an old movie.
Especially Fern.
And then Cliff kind of does it too. Like, all the scenes with Cliff are like, hey, Humphrey Bogart. I know this is probably a wrong reference.
No, I know what you mean.
But it's very much like a little tip of the hat, and it like looks black and white.
Might as well have a cigar hanging out the corner of his mouth.
Yeah, I'm just like, what? These feel corny to me a little bit. And when we have a show that feels grounded, it's a time travel show. Like, those scenes feel grounded to me compared to like these 1920 scenes feel like I'm watching an old movie.
Yeah. I agree with you because there's something about the vehicle through which they time travel being the pond and not some actual like science fiction situation. Because when Nick is like, I get to go in the time machine, right?
Oh my God.
Nick is annoying. But you're right that usually like when we're in the 90s or we're in the 70s, there's nothing about that feels like Back to the Future, Marty McFly and his pump up sneakers. Mm-hmm. This scene, Cliff gives this monologue about like, oh, it's all about the money and all we do is arrest people and let them go. And it's just this. And I was like, what's going on there? And then Tessa comes in and she's like, I got to save my girl Kat. And I put you in jail to save you from the Augie brothers. They're coming to get you. What?
Yeah. What?
Yeah.
Big old question mark. What? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I had a feeling, well, obviously I thought Fern was the one who drugged her, and I had a feeling it was under the guise of protecting her.
Sure.
But give us some more reason. Why would the Augie brothers be after Kat? Like, she just says this stuff to Kat, and Kat doesn't say, why? Like, what is it about me that they would come after me? Mm-hmm, right? Like, we're not getting there. Like, but then Kat's like trying to put all these pieces together and like not asking the right questions.
Correct.
Can I talk about Nick for another minute?
Please do.
Why is he so invested? I'm getting red flags from Nick.
Oh, I just think he wants to be included, but maybe I should be I think he's just like, oh, I want to be part of the Scooby Gang.
Which I'm like, go away. First of all, like, this is like a generational family secret that they've let you in on, which is a big mistake, in my opinion. Yes. Nobody else knows about it except for Nick.
Yeah.
Well, and Elliot, but Nick, come on. And every time like he comes into his scene, he's like, what's going on? Give me the tea. What's the latest? Tell me what you found out. I'm like, dude, you're asking too many questions. Like, just chill. And then at the end, what is Kat thinking? She's going to bring Nick with her in the pond.
Well, he's disposable.
Yikes.
I think that's why.
Oh, my God. How do you explain that? Nick just goes missing? Like, he gets trapped in a time, you know.
He has an invisible fiance. Who's going to miss him? I think she takes him because he's disposable because Alice wants to go. And Kat's like, no, it's too dangerous. And so Nick's like, I'll go. And Kat's like, all right. Elliot's gone. She needs someone to go with her. And I think she's willing to risk Nick.
Why does Nick need to go with her? For protection? I mean, that's the way he sold it. I know. Been a bosun. I know how to be a whatever. I'm like, what?
He's a what?
He said he was a bosun on a boat. Girl, you don't watch any below deck.
Yes, I heard. I don't. You're right. But yes.
I just think it's so weird. And when he was being so goofy about like, I get to go in the time machine. I'm like, nope. I don't know. I hate Nick.
I don't hate him. I think he's just kind of this like clown a little bit. I hate the character they made him as an adult because I thought he was so charming as a teenager, and they turned him into this buffoon in adulthood. Mm-hmm. Like he could still be a little freewheeling kind of, I travel on a boat, I work on a boat, my life is fluid kind of guy without being a doofus.
Yeah, agree.
Let's talk about this final element of this show.
Okay.
So while Alice is in 1979, she sees Tessa get the almanac and she's asking about this entry about Jacob Jr. Kat and Alice are looking at it and Kat's like, wait a minute, that handwriting looks familiar.
Come on.
Like, that looks like the handwriting in Tessa's letter. Give me a break. They run to Elliot's house. They're comparing them. They're the same. This is when Nick shows up and they're trying to figure out where Tessa has been. The only reason I'm going through this is I feel like we need to talk about the details.
Yeah, go ahead.
What they believed happened is Tessa jumped back to 1882 with Griffin. And Tessa stayed for whatever reason. And they believe that Griffin came back. Now, they don't go fully into detail here, but what I think they think happened is Griffin came back with the intent to go back and get her. And then time passed and he couldn't because he wasn't able to bring her forward in time. And Kat says Tessa has been waiting 43 years for someone from her timeline to bring her home.
How do they get to 43 years? Oh, because that's when they left Elliot. Got it. Okay.
Yeah, 1882 to 82 to 25.
Okay.
That's the 43 years. This is what doesn't make sense to me. I kind of had my brain wrapped around, okay, Tessa and Griffin jump. Griffin comes back. Griffin tries to jump back, but he's not able to bring her forward because now he's from the future. Which I was like, okay, if time passes for Griffin, but he still somehow manages to jump back to like 1882, and that time hasn't passed for Tessa, and now he's from the future and he can't bring her back. Okay, I kind of understand that. Nevertheless, Griffin and Tessa are in theory from the same timeline. Like they were their normal age in 1983 when they left. Kat is also from that timeline. Like, how is Kat more from that timeline than Griffin is? Please email me and talk to me like I am 5 years old. Yes. I do not understand.
That's why I don't understand how Kat would be able to bring her back.
Agree.
Yeah. If somebody is on the pulse here and can make it make sense, please email us.
Yeah. How can Kat bring her back, but Griffin can't? It's some weird time travel loophole that I do not understand.
Me and neither.
Yeah, I don't understand it. I'm sorry. I tried, but I don't. Oh, we have to talk about one more thing.
Go ahead.
The end of the episode. The horse.
We see Dell's out on Stormy. I was like, the freaking horse again. She sees someone who she thinks looks like Colton walking by the big boulder onto the path towards the pond, and then she tries to get Stormy to go down that path. And we all know from the last episode that Stormy is very reluctant and we don't know why. Dell was giving pull that bus over energy here.
Absolutely.
Don't you think so?
I'm like, get off the horse and run in there. Like, who cares if the horse won't ride in there?
Yeah, you can't be that fast in front of you. Right?
The person was walking slowly.
Yeah. So Stormy bucks Dell off the horse. And the end of the episode ends with Dell laying there on the ground. Is she dead?
No.
No way.
Semi-conscious. When they were showing that shot of the leaves overhead, I was like, someone's going to lean over and it's going to be like
Sam.
Maybe. Yeah, because the way it's edited is it seems like this is just after Kat and Nick have jumped. We don't know that that's the case, but because Dell's right in the same location, it seems to me like it is. And then we see someone walking in. Is it Sam walking in to have followed them to see what they're doing? It's certainly not Colton.
No, Colton is dead.
I know.
Colton is dead. So...
And I was kind of annoyed that Dell had like why would you think it's Colton?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, I thought we were okay.
Yeah.
I thought we were done seeing Colton everywhere.
And to me, it looked like 70s Colton. Like, it was like, it was like unless Colton's got the market cornered on the flannel,
Wasn't he wearing like a barn jacket?
Yeah, sort of. But I thought it was like flannel patterned. Whatever. It doesn't matter. I don't know why she thought it would be him, though. He's dead.
Well, if you're turning to this episode for more answers than you got while watching this, I'm sorry. But we're all in the dark here.
Totally. Should we go through our...
I have new questions posed by this.
But we didn't get any answers to our ongoing questions.
Grayson's deal with the men at the party. What's going on there? The object, we did answer our question about what Alice finds in the tunnel. It is a bullet casing. That was answered. How does Cliff connect to the events around the explosion? I don't know. Does Fern know Tessa? She reacted when Kat called her Tessa Cooper. Who's Fern's child's father? We do know that Grayson and Fern do not get married because Grayson marries someone else based on his marriage certificate. What's the deal with the mural at Lingermore? Will the pond ever take Elliot again? All of these remain unanswered. Tessa's bracelet, what's going on there? We do not know. Who is the person torn out of the photo with Tessa? Who are the Augustine boys trying to get rid of? Tessa's Alice in Wonderland quotes, the torn pages in Alice's Alice in Wonderland. We did find out who Spike's cats drink. So many questions. So many questions.
So many. And I want to hear the theories. So email us at hello@girlsgonehallmark.com.
Yeah, a couple of new questions raised by this episode. Who did Grayson marry, if not Fern? Fern believes that Grayson's not the one running this operation. I think she's wrong, but what's the deal there? What happened to Delle's 1979 pregnancy? Is Fern a time traveler? I think is a question that we haven't fully answered. I think the answer is no. She just has all this knowledge of the time travelers.
Why wouldn't she be a time traveler, though? She's a Landry.
I know, but I think she wanted to be and it never worked for her.
Oh, okay.
All right, guys, I'm exhausted. Please send us your emails. Let us know your thoughts. We'll be back with the listener mailbag and more Hallmark reviews this week. Goodbye.
Bye.
All right, friends, before we go, just a quick heads up. You're about to hear some ads. These little gems help us keep the show running and the Hallmark love flowing. So do with that info what you will. Grab a snack, hit the skip button, or maybe, just maybe, listen in and discover your new favorite product. Bye.